Hi children, welcome to grade 6 English and this is our session 4 in chapter 1. Uncle Podger hangs a picture. And in our previous session we have seen the introduction of the story and today we are going to read the remaining part of the story. Are you all excited? Yeah, and let us start this session with a prayer. Let us thank God for giving us this wonderful opportunity for learning. All of you sit straight and close your eyes and let us all pray together. Asato ma satkamaya tamaso ma Jyotirkamaya Mrityoma Amritam Kamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Children, all of you rub your hands together, keep it on your eyes and open your eyes gently and slowly. And let us start with a recap of our previous session. And we have read the introduction of the story Uncle Podger hangs a picture. And let me start this session with the introduction. You never saw such a commotion up and down a house in all your life as when my Uncle Podger undertook a job. A picture would have come home from the frame makers and be standing in the dining room waiting to be put up. And Aunt Podger would ask what was to be done with it, and Uncle Podger would say, "Oh, you leave that to me. Don't you any of you worry yourself about that? I will do all that." And then he would take off his coat and begin. He would send the girl out for 6 penny worth of nails and then one of the boys after her to tell her what size to get. And from that, he would gradually work down and start the whole house. In this story, we are going to see about Uncle Podger and how he tries to hang a picture and made it, right? Yeah. And once he undertook a job or anything, what will happen? There will be a heavy commotion up and down the house. In all your life, you would have never seen such a noise. Okay? Like that, when Uncle Podger undertook a job of hanging a picture, what would have happened? And come, let us see. A picture would have come from the frame makers and it would be standing in the dining room waiting to be put up. And Aunt Podger asked Uncle Podger, "What would you do with this?" And he would say, "You leave that to me and don't you, any of you worry yourself about this. I will take care of it." And then he would take off his coat and begin his work. And he would send the girl first for getting 6 penny worth of nails. And then followed by her, he would send another boy to tell her what size to get. And from that, he would gradually work down and start the whole house. He would be saying each and every one their job for just hanging a picture. Yeah, you just imagine, children, how it would be. It will be really funny, right? Yeah. And let us read the remaining part of the story together. "Now you go and get me my hammer, Will," he would shout, "and you bring me the rule, Tom, and I shall want the step ladder, and I had better have a kitchen chair too. And Jim, you run around to Mr. Goggles and tell him pass kind regards and hopes his legs better, and will he lend him his spirit level. And don't you go, Maria, because I shall want somebody. And he would be saying each and everyone their job, right? And like that here, can you get me my hammer, Will? He shouted. And you bring me the rule, Tom, he said. And I also want the step ladder and also your kitchen chair. And Jim, you just go to Mr. Goggles and tell him pass kind regard and also ask him whether his legs are better, and also will he lend him his spirit level. Spirit level means it is a instrument that is used to measure whether the wall is horizontal or vertical, right? The person who is constructing the buildings and all, they will be using, right, spirit level. Yeah, I hope you all know. And he would be saying Maria to do some work too. Come, let's see what's that. Hold me the light, and when the girl comes back, she must go out again for a bit of picture card. And Tom, where is Tom? Tom, you come here. I shall want you to hand me up the picture. And then he would lift up the picture and drop it, and it would come out of the frame. And he would try to save the glass and cut himself. And then he would spring round the room looking for his handkerchief. He could not find his handkerchief because it was in the pocket of the coat he had taken off, and he did not know where he had put the coat. And all the house had to leave off looking for his tools and start looking for his coat, while he would dance round and hinder them. And he would be calling Maria to hold him the light. And when the girl comes back after getting the nails, she must go out again for a bit of picture card. And Tom, you come here. I want you to hand me up the picture, he said. And after that, he would lift up the picture to him and he would drop it. And after that, it would come out of the frame. Okay, the picture would come out of the frame, and in order to save the glass, he cut himself, his hand cut with the help of that glass. And then he would spring round the room. He would be seeing here and there around the room for his handkerchief, but he could not find his handkerchief as it was in the pocket of the coat he just taken off, and he did not know where he had put the coat. Now he will be ordering all the others in the house to find his coat. Yeah, and others will stop looking for all his tools and they will be looking for his coat once again. And while they are seeing here and there, he would be dancing round and he will be disturbing them, right? Okay. And let us move to the summarizing part. Here, until this part of the story, what you have understood, yes, that you have to summarize in 4 to 5 lines. In your notebook, try to summarize this part of the story we have read, children. Yes? Yeah. And now we are moving on to our next part of the story. Does anybody in the whole house know where my coat is? I never came across such a set in all my life. Upon my word, I didn't. 6 of you. You can't find a coat that I put down not 5 minutes ago? Well, of all then he would get up and find that he had been sitting on it, and would call out, "Oh, you can give it up. I have found it myself now." Might just as well as the cat to find anything as expect you people to find it. And he would be shouting at others, "Can you able to find my coat? And after this much time you can't even find my coat." He will be shouting. I never seen such a people in my life, all over my life. This 6 of you, you can't even find my coat. I put down not just 5 minutes ago. And then he would be finding it. Yeah, he had been sitting on it and would call out, "Oh, you can give it up. You can now see your own work. I found it myself now." Instead of asking all of you, I can ask a cat to find my code, even it will do it for me. Like that he will be making fun out of them. Yes? Okay. And when half an hour had been spent in tying up his finger and a new glass had been got and the tools and the ladder and the chair and the candle had been brought, he would have another go. The whole family, including the girl and chowman, standing round in a semicircle ready to help. Two people would have to hold the chair and a third would help him upon it and hold him there, and a fourth would hand him a nail, and fifth would pass him up the hammer, and he would take hold of the nail and drop it. There, he would say in an injured tone, now the nail's gone, and we would all have to go down on your knees and grovel for it, while he would stand on the chair and grunt and want to know if he has to be kept there all the evening. Yeah. And here, after half an hour, he had been spending his time in tying up his injured finger. And after that, a new glass had been brought to fix the picture. And also the tools. What are the tools he asked for? Yeah, all were ready. What are that? The ladder, chair, candle, and everything was ready. And he would have another go. The whole family, including the girl and the chowman, the person who is working in that house, all were ready and they were standing in a semicircle ready to help him. And two people would have to hold the chair. The first two people, what they should do? They should hold the chair and hold him there. And the third one would help him upon it and hold him there. And the third one will help him to get up on that chair and hold him tight. And the fourth one would hand him a nail. And fifth one would pass him a hammer. And then he would take hold of the nail and drop it. He would be dropping it in the floor. Then he would be shouting there in an injured tone, now the nail's gone. And two of them would stop everything they are doing and they have to grovel here and there on the floor in search of that nail. And he would be standing on the chair and say in grunt voice that, what you people are doing there? Are you still searching for that single nail? And you would be making me stand here for the whole evening, he will shout. The nail would be found at last, but by the time he would have lost the hammer. Where's the hammer? What did I do with the hammer? Great heavens, 7 of you gapping round there, and you don't know what I did with the hammer. You would find the hammer for him, and then he would have lost sight of the mark he had made on the wall, where the nail was to go in. And each of us had to get up on the chair beside him and see if we could find it. And we would each discover it in a place very different. And he would call us all fools, one after another, and tell us to get down. And he would take the rule and remeasure and find that he wanted half 31 and 3/8 inches from the corner, and would try to do it in his head and go mad. And we would all try to do it in our heads and all arrive at different results and sneer at one another. And in the general row, the original number would be forgotten and Uncle Podger would have to measure it again. And we would found the nail for him at last, but by the time he would have lost his hammer, and he would be shouting at all of them that, what you people are looking at me? Why you are opening your mouth and seeing me in such a shock? You go and search for my hammer. Do you have any idea what I did with that hammer? He will shout. We would find the hammer for him, and then he would have lost the sight of the mark. That is, if you are going to hang something on the wall, what we will do, children? We will make a mark first, right? Then only we will drop the nail, right? Like that, he would have lost the sight of that mark he had made on the wall, and that is where the nail has to go in. and each of us had to get up on the chair and they will be seeing the mark, whether they can find any mark in the wall, but each of them will find it in different place, and he will be shouting, "You all fools," by one another. And he would tell us to get down, and he would take the rule and he would start remeasuring it and find that he wanted half 31 and 3/8 inches from the corner, and he would try to make it in his head, and he would go on and he would go mad. And these all the people in that house, they will also try to do it on their heads, and they all arrive at different results, so they were laughing at each other. And at last what happened, he would have forgotten the original number itself, and Uncle Podger would have to remeasure it again from the first. And next one, he would use a bit of string this time, and at the critical moment when the old fool was leaning over the chair at an angle of 45 and trying to reach a point 3 inches beyond what was possible for him to reach, the string would slip and down he would slide onto the piano, a really fine musical effect being produced by the suddenness with which his head and body struck all the notes at the same time. And Aunt Maria would say that she would not allow the children to stand round and hear such language. Then this time he would make use of a string to measure, and at the critical moment when he was trying to lean over the chair at an angle of 45 and try to reach the point in the wall where it is not at all possible, yes, beyond what was possible for him to reach, then the string would slip, and after that what happened, he would slide onto the piano. And when you are falling from something, what will happen, you will be falling over something with a very big noise, no, like that he would struck his head and body on all the notes of the piano at the same time, so it made a huge and strange noise there. And Aunt Maria would say she would not allow that children to stand around him and hear such a strange noise. And at last Uncle Podger would get the spot fixed again and put the point of the nail on it with his left hand and take the hammer in his right hand. And with the first blow, he would smash his thumb and drop the hammer with a yell on somebody's toes. Aunt Maria would mildly observe that next time Uncle Podger was going to hammer a nail into the wall, she hoped he would let her know in time so that she could make arrangements to go and spend a week with her mother while it was being done. "Oh, you women, you make such a fuss over everything," Uncle Podger would reply, picking himself up, "while I like doing a little job of this sort." At last, Uncle Podger would get the spot fixed, right? He found that perfect spot, and he would put the point of the nail on it with his left hand, and with the help of his right hand he will take the hammer, and with the first blow he would smash his own thumb and drop the hammer with a heavy noise because he was hurt, right? Okay, and he would drop it on somebody's toes. Aunt Maria, after observing all this, and she said, hereafter, if Uncle Podger had to do some work, what she would do? She would make arrangements to go and spend a week with her mother while it was being done. And for that, this Uncle Podger got angry, and he would say, "Oh, you women, you make such a fuss over everything." That means you're always shouting over something, like that he was telling, picking himself up. "Why I like doing a little job of this sort. Why I always like to do these simple things in my life," like that he was feeling himself. And then he would have another try, and at the second blow the nail would go clean through the plaster and half the hammer after it. and Uncle Podger be precipitated against the wall with force nearly sufficient to flatten his nose. Then we had to find the rule on the string again, and a new hole was made, and about midnight the picture would be up, very crooked and insecure. The wall for yards round, looking as if it had been smoothed down with a rake, and everybody dead beat and wretched except Uncle Podger. There you are, he would say, stepping heavily off the chair onto the chowman's corns and surveying the mess he had made with evident pride. Why some people would have had a man in to do a little thing like that, he would say. And he would have another try on putting the nail, and at the second blow the nail would go clean through the wall. Yes, but half the hammer after it, right? And Uncle Podger be precipitated against the wall. That is, he was in a hurry to finish that. So he dropped the hammer very fast so that half of the nail went inside that wall. Then he had to find the rule and the string again, and he had to start the whole thing right from the beginning. And about midnight only he would put up that picture on the wall, but very crooked and insecure. Even after so much difficulties, he had put that picture on the wall, but still it looked very crooked, that is not in a proper way, and also very insecure. It was about to fall anytime, like that it was on that wall. And after everything, he just look at the wall, and he would be heavily in pride, with evident pride he look at the wall and say, why some people would have had a man to do a very little thing like this. Okay, why you are making me to do all these very little things in this house? Like that he will see that picture and talk in pride. But how the picture looks, children? The picture looked very crooked and insecure, and the wall around that picture, it looked very dirty, like as if it had been smoothened with the help of the rake, with the help of the cleaning metal string, with the help of that. If you are doing something in that wall, means how it looks, it will be very dirty, right? Like that the wall looked. And also, while he dropped off the chair, he dropped onto the chowman's corns. That is, he dropped that hammer right before some time. That hammer dropped onto the toes of chowman, and now while he was getting down from the chair, he dropped on the chowman's corns in her wounds. And after that, he was seeing that picture with such a happy smile and pride in his face, and say, why you are making me to do these such little things in this house? Yeah, it's really funny, right, the story? Yeah, I hope you all enjoy the story and you are clear with this, children. And it is written by Jerome K. Jerome, and it is extracted from Three Men in a Boat. And now you have to summarize the story in 4 to 5 lines. That is, you have to summarize the second part of the story and what you have learned from that in 4 to 5 lines. Now let us recall the story. As we all know, this story is all about Uncle Podger, how he tries to hang a picture on the wall, right? He made use of all the persons in the house, and he made each and everyone to do a certain job for him and to help him, but still he can't able to hang that picture properly on the wall. He shouted at everyone for not doing anything properly, simply standing on the chair. And at last he had so much pride on his work, and with a very happy smile told everyone why you people are making me do these sort of very simple and little thing always. Yes? Okay. From this story, what we have learned, children? When you are doing something with a very little knowledge, it is always dangerous, and an inefficient person can't do anything properly or perfectly until he learns to do that, right? Yes, and today you are having homework for this session. Have you ever come across any such inefficient person in your life? Have you ever come across any such inefficient person in your life like Uncle Podger, right? And narrate any one dangerous incident that happened due to his or her inefficiency. Like Uncle Podger, have you seen anyone in your real life, and can you narrate any one dangerous incident that happened due to his or her inefficiency or lack of knowledge? Yes? And you have to describe about the theme of the story. What the story is all about and what you have learned from the story, you have to describe. Okay? And complete your homework before the due date, and don't forget to submit it on grade 6 English Google Classroom. Children, always stay home, stay safe. I hope you all enjoy this session with me, and don't forget to read the story again and again so that it will be very easy for you to understand. Thank you so much, children.